Religion, in its deepest roots, begins in awe. A man stands beneath the night sky, breathless before a choir of stars, and something in him bows, not out of obligation, but out of wonder. This is the true temple, the space in which seeing itself becomes prayer. Yet somewhere along the way, the song of love was muffled by the drumbeat of ritual. The prophets tell us that the God of Israel never delighted in slaughter, never required the life of lamb or bull to open his ears. But the temple gates closed in on themselves, and the music of mercy was drowned in the smoke of sacrifice. The Bible, that most layered and argued over of books, contains its own counterpoint. It sings two melodies, one of priestly power, the other of prophetic protest. And if you listen closely, you will hear which one carries the breath of God.
The prophet's refrain, God does not want this. Amos heard it first and clear. I despise your feasts, and I take no delight in your solemn assemblies. Even though you offer me your burnt offerings and grain offerings, I will not accept them. And the peace offerings of your fattened animals, I will not look upon them. Take away from me the noise of your songs. To the melody of your harps I will not listen. But let justice roll down like waters, and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Amos 5:21-24. Here is a God uninterested in transaction. No scales of payment, no ledgers of blood. Only the quiet dignity of justice and the fragrance of kindness. Isaiah picks up the same tune. What to me is the multitude of your sacrifices, says the Lord. I have had enough of burnt offerings of rams and the fat of well-fed beasts. I do not delight in the blood of bulls, or of lambs, or of goats. When you come to appear before me, who has required of you this trampling of my courts? Bring no more vain offerings. Incense is an abomination to me. New moon and Sabbath, and the calling of convocations. I cannot endure iniquity and solemn assembly. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hates. They have become a burden to me. I am weary of bearing them. When you spread out your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Even though you make many prayers, I will not listen. Your hands are full of blood. Wash yourselves, make yourselves clean. Remove the evil of your deeds from before my eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do good. Seek justice. Correct oppression. Bring justice to the fatherless. Plead the widow's cause. Isaiah 1-11-17. Micah joins the chorus. Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, with 10,000s of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? He has told you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you but to do justice, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God? Micah 6:7-8. Hosea drives the refrain home with aching poetry. What shall I do with you, O Ephraim? What shall I do with you, O Judah? Your love is like a morning cloud, like the dew that goes early away. Therefore I have hewn them by the prophets, I have slain them by the words of my mouth, and my judgment goes forth as the light. For I desire steadfast love and not sacrifice, the knowledge of God rather than burnt offerings. But like Adam, they transgressed the covenant, there they dealt faithlessly with me. Hosea 6:4-7. This is not a plea for better sacrifices, it is a refusal of the entire premise. Jesus himself, centuries later, repeats Hosea's words twice in Matthew's Gospel, Matthew 9:13, 12:7, as if to underline that mercy has always been the music and sacrifice only the noise.
The lying pen and the stiff-necked priesthood. Jeremiah, standing in the temple itself, delivers a dangerous word. Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, add your burnt offerings to your sacrifices and eat the flesh. For in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, I did not speak to your fathers or command them concerning burnt offerings and sacrifices. But this command I gave them, obey my voice, and I will be your God, and you shall be my people, and walk in all the way that I command you, that it may be well with you. Jeremiah 7:21-23. God's justice has always been personal, not transferable. Fathers shall not be put to death because of their children, nor shall children be put to death because of their fathers. Each one shall be put to death for his own sin. Deuteronomy 24:16. Even when Moses offers himself to atone for Israel's idolatry, God refuses the idea of substitution. Whoever has sinned against me, I will blot out of my book. Exodus 32:33. The priests were enraged at Jeremiah's message. In Jeremiah 26, they demand his death for prophesying against the temple. Jeremiah 26, 7-11. It is a scene that will repeat in another generation when Jesus turns over the tables in the courtyard and declares the temple a den of violent ones. Matthew 21:13. Compare with Jeremiah 7:11. Elsewhere, Jeremiah goes further. How can you say, "We are wise, and the law of the Lord is with us"? But behold, the lying pen of the scribes has made it into a lie. Jeremiah 8:8. The Bible here admits its own corruption. Later hands, serving priestly power, stitched sacrificial demands into the text, a smokescreen to sanctify their system. Ezekiel agrees. Her priests have done violence to my law and have profaned my holy things. Ezekiel 22:26.
A house of prayer, not blood. The original vision, Isaiah says, was that God's house would be a house of prayer for all peoples. Isaiah 56:7. In the purest reading, this is all it ever needed to be. But somewhere along the way, a clause appears. Their burnt offerings and sacrifices will be accepted on my altar. Isaiah 56:7b. The telltale seam of interpolation, the priestly hand sewing blood back into a fabric woven for prayer. When Solomon dedicates the first temple, 1 Kings 8:22-53, the focus is not on rivers of blood, but on the opening of heaven to the prayers of Israel and of foreigners alike. Prayer, not payment.
The Psalms, the inner sacrifice. The poets of Israel echo the prophets. In sacrifice and offering you have not delighted, but you have given me an open ear. Burnt offering and sin offering you have not required. Psalm 46. Do I eat the flesh of bulls or drink the blood of goats, offered to God a sacrifice of thanksgiving? Psalm 50:13-14. For you will not delight in sacrifice, or I would give it. You will not be pleased with a burnt offering. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit. Psalm 51:16-17. The altar God desires is the human heart, unarmored and unashamed.
Jesus and the prophets, one song, two temples. Jesus' temple protest is no accident. By joining Isaiah's house of prayer with Jeremiah's den of violent ones. Matthew 21:13, Isaiah 56:7, Jeremiah 7:11. He positions himself squarely in the prophetic tradition that stood against the cult of sacrifice, just as Jeremiah's warnings were followed by the temple's destruction in 586 BCE. So Jesus were followed by the destruction of the second temple in 70 CE. Twice the house of blood fell. Twice the vision of prayer was vindicated.
Love like the sun.
Here we leave history for something older and truer. The idea that forgiveness must be purchased by blood belongs to the economy of fear, not the ecology of love.
The lilies do not labor to be beautiful. Matthew 6:28-29. The sun does not bill its rays. Love, in its real form, is not a transaction but an overflowing, as natural as breath, as unforced as dawn.
When the prophets cried out against sacrifice, they were not calling for a lighter ritual load. They were calling us back to the dance itself, to life as music without a finale, to love as light without a meter.
You are not a project to be fixed. You are the miracle already happening. The offering he accepts is a life lived awake, as though the sky above you were already the roof of his temple, because it is.